Hello, horror fans. It's me, Cass,
Kylee.
and today we are talking about a movie that is Kylie's choice because we are celebrating Kylie's second Horrorcraft anniversary. Um,
Woohoo!
how do you feel about that?
That's fucking wild, bro.
So I feel like this is going to be even more wild knowledge for you, but I went back to the very beginning of your first episode. Went back to
Yeah.
that first episode. You have at this point in time, I don't know if you've known this, but you have done almost 100 episodes of Horrorcraft at this point in time.
What?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
fucking way.
Yeah. We're like, I couldn't, obviously I was running a little bit behind, so I couldn't get like a definitive number. I would have to actually like go through, but you're at least like 90 to 100 in this.
That's wild.
It really is when you think about it. So
I don't
but
even think about it like that though. Like I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking horror with my best friend. And
I know
people that come on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't even think of it like
Yeah,
that.
you just don't it's something that until you look back and you think about it, it's like, damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who haven't been here from the first episode, I literally had to convince Kylee to join. I was like, Kylee, when I first asked her, she was like, I don't know. I don't like she was very like apprehensive. I think it's you liked you had an interest in it, but it was like I don't know if I can do this.
It was a confidence thing.
Yeah, but now look, here you are. So,
Dude, I remember coming on my first episode was Ghost Ship.
yep, it was
And
treading into turbulent seas.
yeah, that's a badass episode.
That
It was
was.
fun. But I I felt like a newbie probably that first year. And really within these past 6 months, I feel I've I'm not so much a newbie anymore. Like
Yeah, you kind of,
I mean, I was never a newbie with horror, but like
yeah,
there's still just a lot of different genres and different types of horror that I never watched, wasn't into. Um, just the language, you know what I mean? I feel
yeah.
very on point with a lot of that now.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying because it does for like when you go back and you look at your beginning versus now, I think if you don't see growth, that's a problem. Because like
Well,
we were just
I didn't really talk. Like I was very quiet, kind of in the beginning. I think.
you have really more like I would say you said 6 months. I would say even in the last year and a half, like I would say you definitely come more into your own as a
Yeah.
as that role. Um, and I think just getting into it. So, um,
I'm
but
still not good when you put me on the spot, bruh. Which I'm sure you're about to do.
um, maybe in a little bit, but because it's me. I mean, why not? So, but no. So this actually the anniversary episode for Kylee. She picked it. This is something that she wanted to do last year. We didn't get a chance to do, but we are going to be talking about Freddy versus Jason, which is kind of like a early aughts staple. It's the first of its kind with horror giants like that. We did see
Yeah.
an iteration with Alien versus Predator, but which we'll get into in a minute. But it was kind of the first, and it was kind of testing the water because I do hear from different people that there were different things proposed at different points in time. I know Bruce Campbell recently had a podcast clip floating around where Evil Dead was supposed to be a part of it and the Deadites were supposed to be
Yeah.
a part of it. And that ended up not happening, but it was supposed to be more. But I think it does a really good job at showing that we can connect these people together and it
Yeah.
can be done in a good way. So
they did just amazingly with the history of both franchises and putting them into this movie.
Yeah, it's something that I hope to see that they'll come back to, like the idea of putting two together, which obviously we'll get into more of, but I'm definitely interested to see everyone's thoughts as they listen to this episode. So please let us know what you think of Freddy versus Jason. And if you have not seen it at this point, stop the episode, go watch it. It is not currently available on streaming for free anywhere like Hulu, HBO Max, anything like that. I do know like during Halloween season.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say. Probably during Halloween season, all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, like I know this past Halloween season, they were on Max.
Yeah.
I think even a couple, I could be wrong, maybe even on Netflix, but definitely Max. And I think Max will probably do that again.
Probably, or Peacock kind of put a lot of them.
Or Peacock, yeah. Peacock is really good about that, especially like with the Halloween franchise.
Yeah, so we'll definitely, if that changes at any point in time, but I will say Freddy versus Jason is one that I regularly see on sale for like deals through Vudu or different streaming services like Amazon Prime Video. So definitely watch it, come back to us. But we are going to go ahead and get into the episode. So before that, I would definitely encourage you to leave a comment down below and give Kylee her flowers, because 2 years is nothing to shrink about. And we wouldn't be anywhere without Kylee. So let her know that down below. But we are going to go ahead and cue the intro.
Welcome to the Horrorcraft Podcast.
All right, we are back. So, it wouldn't be an anniversary episode without me talking about this. And Kylee pretty much knew that this was coming. So this is my time, which really, in reality, I talk about this all the time. But how much I love Kylee. So for those of you who don't know, Kylee and I obviously met a year prior to her coming on. We bonded over our children, bonded in just general. But Kylee is my person. Anybody who has met us in person could tell you Kylee is my person. But there's just so many things I could say. Kylee has done so much this year for me while being pregnant, giving birth, pulling out a whole child. I'm a spooky mom. I am a spooky mom, but I'm a spooky aunt. And you're a spooky mom of 3 now, which was a crazy journey to go on. But
yeah,
Kylee, obviously, I had, I briefly talked about it, but I had a health issue, kind of just a life issue, kind of things just caught up to me. We have that, but Kylee is that friend where you say, okay, I want a friend who's going to be in the paint with me, who's going to call me out on my shit, but still be there. Kylee is that person. And when I say that, I think people take that as me calling Kylee aggressive, which I would never do.
Well, listen, you wouldn't be the first person to call me aggressive or intimidating, and probably wouldn't be the last.
Yeah, but that's like people say that the same thing about me when it comes to different aspects too, but it's just how you are as a person. And I see that and I respect that, but it takes a lot for somebody to say, hey, I need you to get it together because I love you. and then stick around and actually mean what they say. Kylee is that person. Kylee will always be that person. That's who she is. So Horrorcraft would not be alive without Kylee right now. When I started Horrorcraft, I was in a completely different mindset than when Kylee and I were talking. I had no business starting a second podcast, but I wanted Kylee to do it. And her coming on Horrorcraft was, yeah, let's just do that too. Little did I know that that would quite literally change the trajectory of everything that we're on, because literally everything that I built from the beginning is exactly what Kylee and I are doing here now. So I would not be anything. I mean, obviously I'm accomplished. I would be something, but this podcast would not be without what it is without Kylee. And that's truly just from my heart. Just all the things that we've gone through together, personally, professionally. She's the one that helps me not crash out. Uh, she's the one that calms me down, like, yeah, that's a valid reason to crash out. No, that's not a valid reason to crash out, Cassandra. I'm going to need you to just get in a corner and take a deep breath. Which I need somebody like that, because a lot of times, with having ADHD, you don't feel like your feelings are valid. So even without asking, Kylee validates my feelings and makes me feel.
I validate your crazy ones and your rational ones. And I will tell you, your crazy ones are valid, but like, here's what it is.
Yes.
At least I try to.
Yes. We've had some crazy moments together, whether it's combating snakes.
I think you do the same thing for me, though. I mean, I don't really call you crashing out a whole lot, but when I do, I'm crashing the fuck out. And it's like, okay. You get your calm motherly voice.
But no,
it's gonna be okay, friend.
Okay. It's gonna be okay. But it's just, I think nobody prepares you for the loneliness that comes with both of our journeys as mothers. And to have somebody that understands me on a level that I don't think we have a lot of acceptance for in that realm is just so affirming, because I have not had that with anybody else. And trust me, there are times where I look at like certain friends and I'm like, why can't you just love me like Kylee? Why can't you just be here for things? And
it's you have given me just, your family now, your Aunt Cass, you're like a sister, but you've given me a voice to be something other than being a recovering addict, being a mother to a child with severe autism who is nonverbal, being a wife, you know what I mean? Like, and that this is my me time. Like, this is where I get to be Kylee, and I don't have to be anything that's outside of like my bedroom door.
Yeah. And I think for me, I've had friendships where I thought, okay, this was my person. But in reality, I had to dim my light a lot for that. This is the first relationship where I can be my own person. You never make me feel like I have to shine my light, like dim less of who I am. You've always encouraged me to dial it up even more. You just encourage me to be who, even with having health issues, your whole thought process was never, I need you to look this certain way or whatever. It was more or less, I cannot lose another friend. I need you to get it together. And I know regardless of how I would look, you don't care. And that's where truly it like healed a part of me. Because I think a lot of times people say that, but they don't genuinely mean it. And you are one of the few people that actually do mean it in my life. And that's hard.
Yeah,
because
I don't care what size you are. I just want you to be healthy. I want you to be healthy for yourself, for your family, for Braden, Jim, and healthy to be my friend.
Yeah.
Because I've lost a lot of friends, and not to just medical issues, but to addiction. And it's very, very hard. but I don't care what size you are. I just want you to be healthy and happy and thriving, and you are.
Yeah, and a big part of that is because like you are just a great sounding board. And anybody who's listened to this, there have been times where Kylee and I get on here and we've had other co-hosts and we're like, things are going great. And sometimes things are not going great. And we're fully as transparent as that as we're going to be. Obviously, that's our own situations, and there's things behind that that we don't feel comfortable talking about. But even though we've gone through that, I'm known deep down that we will be okay as long as it's you and me till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people gravitate towards too, is because we were friends before the podcast. We will be friends after the podcast. This means a lot to us, but if it meant our friendship, we would throw it in the trash right now and light it on fire.
Yeah.
And I think that that's hard because sometimes in this reality, you do see a different side of people that I think you don't think you'll see it, especially on the little level that we're on with certain things, but you do. And it's just very hard. But I've just never had to worry if you're truly the person that you are, because you've always been that authentic person to me and you've always loved me from a place that I truly understand that. And I truly get that. So, it'll be me and you till the wheels fall off. and
Period.
obviously we're entering a new era. It's me and you together. And as you listeners will probably see, we're going to be changing things up a little bit differently around here. Don't mind our paint and our dust. We're going to be learning some different things. And we're, kind of going on and doing different things.
We got some really, really exciting stuff coming up, going on. We're leveling up. Another level of Jumanji.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have just so many funny moments together. Like you recently gifting me a bib because of the Brian Thompson comment. Which
yes, Cass came to my house a couple of days before we went to our Jody and Friends retreat, and I gave her a bib that was a Raiden's, but it was actually for a girl. Someone gave to me for him, and I'm not going to use it. And I messaged Brewster and told him about it, and he's like, "You have to record it," and I said, "Bet," and I did.
Yeah. You guys did. Still gonna have to think of something for that. But it was hilarious. Kylee and I also, there was a whole snake thing at her house where we were like she was Googling snakes. We were trying to figure out. And at one point I was like, listen, and it was on Father's Day of all days. And we were both like, we're going to go do these steaks. And then the steak was there. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm not fighting. I'm like, Jim, can you do these? I felt really bad. Jim was fine though. But I was like,
since that incident, like I've joined a lot of groups on Facebook about snake identifications, and I even joined one yesterday. It's like the National Snakebite Association, and they help people who get kind of bit by snakes and like educating them on what to do. And to be honest, I'm getting really good at identifying them, and I'm getting more comfortable with what to do when I find a snake and if it's venomous or not. And like I'm growing and evolving in that area that I never thought I would in my 33 years of life. Now, am I going to go pick one up? No, but may I figure out a way to safely relocate it? Yes.
I feel like that's probably a good skill to learn, given how many, because this happened not once, people, but like, wasn't it 3 separate times while I was there?
No. It was two, yeah. Like, okay, so that weekend when you guys came up on Father's Day, there was a water snake, and yeah. But when we came back that Friday, that next day, that Saturday, Ryder, my dog, was barking at something, and it was a rat snake, and it looked pissed at Ryder, and I was scared to death. So Dakota, I make him go get it, go relocate it to.
And you made the kids go with him. That was the funniest thing.
I didn't make the kids go with him. He took them with him. And then him and Brayden came in the house and threw that toolbox that they had it in me. I jumped. Brayden thought it was fucking hilarious.
That was also the spider incident where the spider was coming. It was the big spider.
No, it wasn't a spider. It was a bee. I had to save Cass from a bee.
While I was holding Raiden, I was trying.
Raiden, and she squealed and made Raiden cry. To be fair, Raiden was very fussy like that whole week because he was cutting teeth. So, and he didn't get much sleep.
I kind of did pass the vibe check on that one.
You did not.
I did not. It's okay. We'll retool. We'll relearn. Okay. We'll take it as an education.
But are you? Because I'm the one out here like learning about snakes and shit.
Girl, I don't live in that kind of area. Okay, there's a reason why I am in country adjacent. Okay. Now that we are back after a saying Brayden's name and it like I thought he was, about to bust in, pull a whole Weston Kylee moment where that whole thing happened. That was kind of funny. But no, there's a reason why I live country adjacent. Okay, I live in Norwalk. Okay, it's like small town, but it's not like I'm on the edge of town and I live in an apartment. Like, I'm bougie, okay? I'll fully admit it. Like, anybody who knows me knows that I'm certain levels of bougie.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
I almost broke my arm helping her carry her bags from her car in my house.
Yeah, she did. Because I have a new big, nice bag that I got as a gym bag. And it's like a weekend.
That's your fucking gym bag.
Oh, it is. I'm gonna take a picture next time I'm in the gym, and I'm gonna I'm gonna put it up on social media and tag you in it, so people know like this is the bag. But it is because I like taking a shower. I like tanning there. I like doing the things at Planet Fitness. I'm up in there, so I'm difficult. All right, I'm expensive and difficult. I'm okay with that. Like
and mouthy.
And mouthy. I'm all
so
of those.
That's why we're best friends.
That truly, join forces. But for as expensive and difficult as I am very humble in my own ways and different things.
You're very frugal.
Yeah, I do. Like, if I'm going to do something, it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm working towards it. I'm not one of those people that magically think things grow on trees. Like, I'm going to put the work in to do it.
And you usually got a coupon.
Usually, or I found a good deal on it. I thrift a lot of things. I Poshmark a lot of things. I get a lot of different deals. Facebook Marketplace recently has been screaming every time they see me coming. Because I've just, I've been selling and getting different things on there. So, which is where my new chair is from. So if you're the lady who bought me that sold me this chair and you're listening because you said you were, shout out to you because I love this chair. Baby loves this chair. This chair is Horrorcraft approved. So thank you. And thank you for listening because that was pretty cool. So just had to shout that out. But no, we love Kylee. Kylee is the day one, and we're going to be doing this until the wheels fall off. So please give her some love in the comments. I'm going to let Kylee talk about our new phase though. We recently found a new home and Kylie's going to introduce it because Kylie's already kind of been doing some things over there. So please go and watch them because we're going to link them in the description down below. And Kylie's been freaking killing it. But Kylee, you're going to go ahead and take it away.
We have accepted to join the Hell Zone family.
Hell yeah, we have. So
yes, we have.
If you're not following Hell Zone at this point in time, we need you to stop this episode. Go do that. We need you to go follow Basic Brittany. We need you to go follow Cody, and we need you to go follow our friend and brother in arms, Day, Mr. Hellzone, and
Mr.
show them,
Hellzone,
yes,
the
and show
Hellmaster.
the Hellmaster, and we need you to go show them some love. So, but yes, we will be popping up every week, periodically. Just you'll see us up on there, and we're having fun. There's gonna be a lot of live streams. If you haven't watched Hellzone before, it's a fun time. We've done some lives there. They helped us get comfortable with lives, and so we love it. We're definitely going to be stepping up our game here as well, and you're going to see a lot of that.
He's got me doing clips for him now.
He does. He has Kylee learning some things. So, he put Kylee up on that, theoretical payroll, and he said, we got to do this. So he's doing the same for me, though. So don't worry.
Yes.
We're in the same boat. So, but
it's just for you, because I'm really stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm just leveling up, and I'm doing certain things that I thought was just kind of, I don't know why I never thought I could do it. It's ADHD and imposter syndrome.
Well, and then also sometimes it can seem more complicated than what it is. When you start getting into it, I know, like, I planned for months before we started our first episode, and looking back on it, I'm like, for what? Why was I so scared to get in front of that and do it? Because honestly, anymore, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, like, I still have my moments. I mean, I feel like as long as you still feel that way, that's what keeps you humble. And as long as you're trying to move forward, but there's definitely going to be changes for us. We're on doing stuff for Hellzone. We're going to be doing some different things here. We're going to be adding some things, adding merch. We're going to be popping up on Patreon sometime before the end of the year. So, this is the next 2 chapters. So it's Kylee and I till the wheels fall off, and deservedly so. So go check us out on Hellzone. Check out everybody that we just listed. We're going to put them in the description down below, and check us out on some live streams over there. We're going to be doing a Horrorcraft takeover at one point in time. But it's nice to have a home that feels familiar. So I'm excited. And, we're talking about Freddy versus Jason. Obviously, you saw a clip in the beginning from our awesome intro from Tanner. That is Freddy. So thank you, Tanner, for doing that. And if you haven't checked out Summer Screams, please go do it. Your girls are in there, and we have a whole bunch of cool people up in there. So we're definitely going to link that down below, too.
Tiki killed it on Summer Screams.
Oh, he killed beyond. It
was beautiful.
Yeah, he just kills it every time. This time, though, like, definitely leveled up at just so many different, and the fact that he does a lot of it from his phone is like a whole other thing too that just blows me out of the water. So yeah, definitely we're gonna link it down below. Go show some love. Tiki will be on here soon, and we're gonna be doing some fun episodes, and we're gonna be getting back into Reddit stuff, and I think we're gonna start experimenting with some subreddits. So if you know of some interesting subreddits, some subreddits that may not get as much exposure, like Am I the Asshole, or Today I Fucked Up, or different things like that, or best Redditor updates, let us know, because we want to explore some crazy stuff. So we want to get in the weird. That's where we want to be. So show everyone some love. Go show Summer Scream some love, and tell us what your favorite subreddit is. But we're going to go ahead and roll into Freddy versus Jason. If you have not seen Freddy versus Jason, please go do so. But very quickly, to summarize things, Freddy gets forgotten. Pretty much.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Poor Freddy.
The children of Elm Street forget about Freddy. They get kind of medicated into not having dreams, and he kind of gets left behind. So he decides, since he kind of, which I guess I skipped a chapter of when Freddy had access to digging people out of hell, but um I think I need to go back and look through that lore. But because I know, like,
Yeah.
he popped up in Jason Goes to Hell, where like at the end there was like a whole thing with his like glove. I think there is.
Yeah, I did not know that, and I'm gonna have to, but I have not really explored the Jason universe a whole lot.
Yeah, same with me. Like, I don't my favorite Friday the 13th is the last one they did before
Same here.
they.
Same here.
Yeah, I just felt like out of all the remakes that they did at that point in time, that was like one of the
That was
highlight
solid.
ones. That
Yeah.
it was like that opening scene with the sleeping bag and the people and the yeah.
I did like Jason Goes to Manhattan. Not even gonna lie. I did kind of enjoy that one.
I feel like the Jason movies, they have their place with certain things. I think for me, it's just Jason is great as a character, but I think some of the movies could be different ones.
Yeah, well, like I don't really like the first and the second one really. I think I appreciate what the Friday the 13th franchise is and what it's done for the genre. I'm going to be kind of fake. I wouldn't say fake about this. I like him more for the aesthetic.
So I think
and what he has done for the genre.
I think my thing is Friday the 13th, the original, should have just been Miss Voorhees, her story, because that is by itself, that is a thing by itself. Because the fact that when you find out that that's his mom that's doing all of that at the end, and it's that little lady that you weren't suspecting, that is a true like feminine rage moment. So I think, and I hope that maybe that's what they're focusing on with the new series that Linda Cardinelli is going to be a part of. I'm really hoping that like they do good with that. But I think Jason can be a whole different thing, which is why, like, when I was messaging you earlier about this, like, I forgot how much I really did like this movie. And I think a part of it is because it is more Jason in his element.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I like the whole idea of like him getting unleashed on people to amp up the fear factor, because then it does highlight him, because you do forget that even though Freddy is a strong opponent, Freddy has a bigger disadvantage on Jason than Jason does him. I mean, and so I think it highlights it really well. But so Freddy,
I think like when I was a kid, like this movie came out at like the perfect time. I was 12. I was just getting into horror, and my dad introduced me to Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, and then this came out. Like it was amazing to be.
What was your
like,
first Nightmare on Elm Street that you watched?
The first one.
The first one? Yeah, see, I never watched the first one. I watched New Nightmare before I watched. That was my first Freddy experience. So when I actually did watch Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, like years later, I was confused because I didn't understand that in New Nightmare they were making Freddy real.
Yeah.
So, but that's very interesting.
Yeah, the first what my dad introduced me to. But I remember being, because I was also like really getting into Michael Myers, which my dad didn't really particularly like him. I kind of got into him on my own because of AMC Fear Fest that they do every year. But they also used to have AMC Fear Fest on Fridays. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. So I always like, well, why can't they do Freddy versus Michael? That'd be so much cooler, but whatever. But seeing Freddy versus Jason, it made me like Jason. And made me be like, okay, I'm going to try and watch the Friday the 13th movies. And I did.
Yeah, it made me realize with this rewatch that I do, like at some point I want to go back and I want to rewatch the Friday the 13th, because I do like them on a certain level. It's just, it's not as loved of a franchise for me, but I'm not
Yeah.
like, I like a different form of slasher, but I mean, Jason is obviously the originator of a lot of
Yeah.
like the camp, you know, that kind of subgenre of the boogeyman in the woods kind of
Yeah.
thing. But so this brings up an interesting question though, before we move on further with synopsizing this. If you could put any horror giants together, um, this is like past or present, because obviously things have obviously changed too since Freddy versus Jason has come out. Who would you put together and why?
Hmm. Okay, let me think here.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of people say they want to see Leprechaun versus Chucky.
Yes.
They want to see
I
them
feel like
going
that.
against,
I feel like we need that.
and I could totally see that, right? But my take on this is I want to see Tiffany versus Annabelle because I think Tiffany would wipe the floor with Annabelle.
Hot take. I like it.
I feel like we give Chucky so much love, but like when Tiffany came on in Bride of Chucky and Tiffany as a character, and that's why I'm kind of disappointed they canceled the series because we got to know so much more about Tiffany and her backstory with Chucky. But like Tiffany was a stone cold like killer before
Yeah.
Chucky and as a cold stone killer even after Chucky. And even though she's Jennifer Tilly is Tiffany. Like what you think
Yeah.
of as
Oh yeah. Oh
Jennifer
yeah.
Tilly is Tiffany. And I love Jennifer Tilly. Like I'll be honest, the only reason I probably keep watching The Housewives is A, I'm a sucker for drama, but B, this season with Jennifer Tilly in it, like they need to make her a full ass housewife because the fact that Tiffany was just posted up in her house with like custom like outfits, designer outfits, and she's just got Tiffany chilling out places and she's just like bougie without even like she's the most down to earth bougie person. Like she's got all these like great accessories and she just like drops that, she got left part of the Simpson fortune and she's like, you know, she's just
Yeah.
her. And I feel
Yeah.
like that a lot of that translates to Tiffany, but like I feel like Tiffany would fuck Annabelle up.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I just don't think it would be a fair fight.
Okay, so mine is Michael Myers versus the main clown in Hell House. Because they're really like looking at them. I mean, like they're both terrifying, but also cannot be terrifying. Almost like not taken seriously. They move slow, but when they get you, they fuck shit up. And they don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
I think even though it's really kind of doesn't make sense because whereas the main Hell House clown is just like more of in the paranormal and Michael is like real, but I think it can work.
Yeah, but there was also like a paranormal factor to Michael as well because Michael kept coming back.
Yeah, I think I mean I definitely think there was, but I mean there's so many different timelines within the Halloween franchise. I mean, there's definitely like some sort of supernatural element, I think, to Michael as to so many things as like how the fuck does he keep coming back? How does you know what I mean?
I think
But
Michael
it would be cool to see Michael coming into the lake of fire.
Yeah, but it'd be crazy. I think like Michael though is kind of like Jason, where Michael and Jason are technically people, but
Yeah.
the thing that feeds them is their story. And I think
Yeah.
that's the one thing that like keeps them coming back because of the fact that if you think about it, Michael consistently in a way is kind of protecting like the fact that he was murdered because of the fact that he was like the counselors didn't watch him and stuff like that. And he's kind of defending his turf. Michael, you know, he's the boogeyman. He's the kind of shadow that you don't think is coming out, but is coming after you. And whether it's like the timeline where him and Jamie Lee Curtis's character are brother and sister, or you have the newer timeline where it's just a stranger, um, they're both embodiment of evil, and they kind of keep going forward because we keep giving them fear, we keep giving them power to come back. And so you do kind of see that. I now
it is kind of like that with the Hell House clown, like as Tully
yes.
says, perpetually scared guests are the best.
Yes. Yeah, and it's one of those things too with the Hell House clown. You're not expecting it, right? Because
you look away and the clown is a certain way, you look away, and then when you come back, that clown's head is turned differently, or it's in your fucking face.
Now that you talk about it, if we're going to talk like Hell House versus anything, I would love to see Hell House and the clown or any of the characters in Hell House go up against the characters in Waxwork, which is a movie you probably never seen, but one that I really love.
I've heard you talk about it though.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing where it's they're unassuming when you go in and you're going around the waxwork, right? But the whole idea of it is the same thing with Tully, where they're collecting souls. They have like a tally of how many souls. So if you go into this particular exhibit, so say for instance, one of my favorite is when the girl walks in to the vampire one, she gets sucked in there. If you die in there, you become part of that exhibit and your soul is trapped in there. So when they get a certain amount of souls, shit's getting fucked up. And it's kind of the same thing with Tully and Hell House. Like, we collect this many amount of souls, the Lake of Fire is going to open up. Same thing with that.
Yeah.
So it'd be very interesting to see, because it is kind of like the same ideas, just on different wavelengths. Same thing, like I would probably like to see the killer clowns go up against Art the Clown.
Oh yeah.
Because they're two different kinds of crazy on the same kind of level, just different ends. Like, they're just different fonts, different shades, but they're the same kind of, because there's no reasoning with the killer clowns and there's no real reasoning with Art.
None.
And so there's
nothing.
Yeah, and where you see that kind of like disgusting, gritty, but almost like fantastical, like Art just being fucking ridiculous and like
out of fucking pocket all the time. All the time.
You see the same thing with the killer clowns, with like the cotton candy cocoons, and like the different ways that they like fuck people up, and just like the whole, like back to the whole part of like the girl answering the door for the pizza, and they like, I mean, it's kind of the same things, just in different bloody font.
Well, and I just think there's just something about clowns now that I find so just quite frankly terrifying now, I think. And I never used to be like, oh my God, I'm scared of clowns, but I don't know.
I think it's just the way that like unsettling things.
Well, I was watching this docuseries on AMC Plus about this woman who dressed in a clown suit and killed her boyfriend's wife.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I'm just like, that is so disturbing. Like, she had balloons and flowers, and I'm just like, and then proceeded later, because she didn't get charged with it, was in another state with him and opened up that restaurant, and it was like Halloween. She dressed up as a clown, bro. Like, what?
I think it's that effect that we've kind of, and I would almost lean into like the Five Nights at Freddy's kind of effect, because think about it. Five Nights at Freddy's is a kid game, is kind of like a teen scare, But at its core,
it's actually really fucking terrifying.
Yeah, because there's souls of children stuck in animatronics that were, hunted down and murdered by this woman's father, who still is perpetuating this. And but there's so many true life things that kind of come forward with it too, like Gacy. I mean, people thought, oh, he's just this big lovable clown, and no, he was murdering people.
Do you remember in the 2010s when there was just random clowns coming out?
Oh, totally.
That still is just completely unexplained.
Yeah, that was like
that red space in my head. Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, there was actually one of them that was close to us. There was a pair of people that were doing it close to us that later on we saw pictures of here in Norwalk, and they were a street over from us, and I was like, no. And the Purge movies had just started making rounds, and they're kind of, they've got some characters with the Liberty masks and the light up masks and things like that.
That reminds me of we were just talking about it last night, American Horror Story Cult.
Yeah.
I wonder because that I get that kind of is around the time frame of when that was going on, with Trump and Hillary election. So I wonder if that's why they did that.
I think people were just being people. I don't know. People, I feel like people are
Google this. What happened to these random clowns coming out? Because it was terrifying.
I feel like people realized that this wasn't a prank, and people I remember specifically maybe some people getting harmed because they were doing this as a prank, and they got in people's yards and stuff, and somebody shot them. I think maybe that's I'm trying to think of a specific incident where it happened, but that's a big thing. I mean, think about how many times somebody's gotten shot because of the wrong, they think, oh, something's in their hand when it's not, or this and that. So could you only imagine somebody dressed as a clown not listening to you and do across the yard?
It reminds me of in Jaws when those kids had the shark fin and acting like a shark, and then it was completely all the attention was on them when there really was the shark. And, he really killed somebody.
Or
in assholes.
Or in Tremors when the kid, because I'm rewatching that for an episode that we have coming up, but when the kid pretends that he's getting grabbed by the graboid and they don't believe him. But shout out to Kevin Bacon and what's his face character, because they're they still were they didn't do the whole okay, well, we're just gonna let him go and die. They were still oh, well, I'm pissed off, let me go beat his ass. And they at least went out and investigated, and they were oh shit, there really was something coming after him. Because most people, if that happened, they were nope, I'm not putting my energy into it. But
it's the Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Yeah, definitely. But they were just so going into the Boy Who Cried Wolf, this is kind of the theme of it, because with Freddy, he unleashes Jason, but kind of gets buyer's remorse with that. It's one of those things where he wanted the kids. So his whole plan is he's been erased. He brings Jason back from hell, unleashes them on Elm Street as portraying Jason's mother, who we know Jason will blindly do so many things for, and kind of gets a taste of his own medicine when he realizes, when the fear does get turned up and Freddy's at the point where he's ready to unleash it, Jason's just still out there. He's still that weapon that's moving forward. And Freddy is just not having it. And we see them kind of facing off with each other, to the point where then the protagonists in this movie play that against them. They are listen, you guys fight it out. We're deucing it out until the end, which is welcome to my nightmare, bitch. That great line.
Dude, this whole movie is just, it's iconic. Okay. There's so many things that they brought to this that
What
were
was your
in.
favorite? What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, I love the beginning.
Yeah. So
I love when when Freddy is talking and it just gets you so ramped up. And then I love when he brings Jason back and Jason's mom's like talking to him and like you see his decomposed body just rising up and his heart's beating, and it reminds me of being 12 again and seeing it for the first time.
yeah, so one of my favorite scenes is when they're finally duking it out with each other, like at Camp Crystal Lake, and they're going at it with each other. But I would say probably in equal with that, Kelly Rowland. Listen, I love Kelly Rowland to begin with.
Yep.
And her roasting Freddy is the funniest shit. Like, what are those? Butter knives, and then like she's defending Jason. She's like, what do you have on Jason? And Jason's then the one that kills her. But I feel like that's kind of
that final showdown when the music hits and Jason like throws the table, like it's just ooh.
Yeah, you're like it's like the Mortal Kombat moment. It's like you hear the music in the background, like when they start like they're like shit's about to happen, and it's like Mortal Kombat, do, and then like this shit's about to get real.
Yeah,
that's that kind of moment, which I feel like was a great one. I miss that they did this because I love this one and I love Alien versus Predator. I even liked the second Alien versus Predator. It wasn't as great as the first one, but I wish they would do more with different. And I get it that it's hard because
I love the rivalry.
Yep.
That it created back then. Like
Freddy versus were you a Freddy? Yeah. I'll be honest, Robert Englund, I was always on your side just because
same
my
here.
uncle was always on your side, and family loyalty.
Do you want to know a really funny story? Well, actually, you know the story. I'm just going to remind you. But when I was pregnant last year and I watched this, you remember the scene when, oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Lori. When Lori and they're all hanging out and she's dreaming and she grabs Freddy's ear and brings it out of the dream.
Yeah.
I watched it, went to bed, and I had a similar thing, but with Dakota's ear. And in my sleep, I reached over and smacked the side of his head and tried to grab
I remember this. The pregnancy dreams are the worst because they will have you doing some funky shit.
Yeah.
I could totally see you doing that. But yeah, listen, Freddy's always just kind of had a special place in my heart just because like I've talked about this multiple times, but like my uncle has I have the autograph. It's actually right next to me. But like Robert Englund didn't know that to my grandparents. He was in a restaurant. It like didn't know what the fuck these people were doing. Didn't know that my uncle had priorly gone out and taken a picture with the cardboard cutout. Didn't owe shit to him. But like he is that OG person of like, no matter how big or small a fan you are, I've always heard positive stories about him. I've always seen great things, and I just think he's a good human. So
I watched that Never Sleeps documentary about him and like the franchise, and he's just a good guy. He's just a good guy. And like I'm not saying there's not like people like him in the horror community or horror icons, but like he's just
there's nobody like
what these movies mean to people, and he's just very kind. He's loving.
And he's never turned his back on horror, even from the beginning. When it wasn't popular, when they were having 27 different versions of Nightmare on Elm Street, and they kept bringing him back, like, he still kept going. And he's always played with the genre. Like, we talk about Phantom of the Opera on here, but there is a horror version of Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund, and it is actually a really good version. But he's done other movies.
I mean, he was an urban legend. I forget this other movie I watched. I watched it back in October when I was doing my 31 Days of Found Footage challenge. The Mask of, I don't remember.
The Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Yep, he was in that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, he was in that. He's been in a lot of different things. I mean, he just continues on. And the thing is he never, him and Elvira are very similar in the way that they never shied away, even when things might have seemed like people were making expenses at, like, jokes at his expense, or like Elvira's expense, where they were saying, oh, look at them selling out, doing this. But like, who fucking cares? If you were Elvira, you would be on a fucking coffin beach towel, by the way, too. Yeah. So Elvira's got the coolest shit. Okay, I do have a coffin beach towel with Elvira on it, but Elvira has cool stuff. Freddy was everywhere for such a long period of time. There's so much merchandise with Freddy, and even now there is still.
I don't think it's selling out at all. I think it's giving fans what they want, what we want.
Yeah,
I mean, I got him on a shirt. That's not super sellouty. I mean, but still.
Yeah, he's just like, he's who he is, and he's never shied away with that. I feel like, for a lot of people with Friday the 13th, that's kind of the way though too, because Friday the 13th, I think that's why that does pair well with each other, because Friday the 13th, it hasn't been the strongest franchise, but a lot of people are hardcore about it, and for a reason. Like, we would not have some of the greatest practical effects people without Friday the 13th. Same way with Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's it's loving and just really great to see this. There are so many great freaking people in Freddy versus Jason, like so many people that they brought in for it. Like, it's just astounding. So I also like the idea that, like, Freddy's biggest competition in this movie, other than Jason, is like a medication that they were like, we're going to figure out a medical way to stop this. And all the, like, parents it's giving Disturbing Behavior. Have you seen that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of my favorite fucking movies, bro.
Yeah, it's giving, like, fuck these kids, we're going to get something to figure this out. Like, the way that they even shut this town, instead of listening to anybody with a rational mind, the way that they try to shut this town down, they put people in freaking a coma, a coma, because
and here's the thing, here's like what just mind-boggling. You guys are doing all this, but a lot of times law enforcement refuse to believe anything demonic, paranormal, unexplained, you know what I mean? But you're willing to go to the lengths to do all of this and not really even acknowledging what you know what I mean?
Well, but I think it's the whole fact of, like, think about it. By the time we get to this movie, Freddy's killed at least like 100 people plus at this point in time. Like, there's a lot of generations. I'm surprised there are generations left on Elm Street for him to intimidate, because at this point, like, you have murked out a lot of people's family.
Well, and like something I've never noticed, but I wonder if Laurie's mom was one of the kids on Elm Street, and that is why he killed her, even though they thought, like,
like she was one of the people that made it out. Yeah.
Because really, Freddy didn't kill adults.
No, he didn't, but
see, I just kind of caught that. I'm like, I bet she was one of the kids on Elm Street.
I don't know that.
Which, by the way, Will Jason Ritter. I had the hugest crush on that.
Well,
on
and
him.
now he's like a TikTok viral sensation because he does his little dances, Jason Ritter does on TikTok, and he's so funny, especially now because he's married to Melanie Lansky from Yellow
Well,
Jacket.
yeah, you know who his dad is, John Ritter.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying people like, for a while, like he was kind of the big star and people, but like he's that kind of person that's like, yeah, my wife's amazing. Look at her. And he's the one that like hypes her up. And I remember watching something where he was like, the interviewer was like, do you know how much people really love your wife or, for Yellow Jackets and stuff? And he was like, yeah. And the comment section was like, listen, he can't take all of us. Like implying like, he can't stop all of us. One of us eventually will get Melanie Lansky. But yeah, he's incredible by himself too. Like he's done so many great things over the years. People are trying to get him to come on Yellow Jackets because I think Melanie Lansky.
Well, there's supposedly an unaired episode that was from the 3rd season, and he is in it. Don't know how, what capacity, way, shape, or form. And I know there was like a lot of fans are like, where's this episode? What is this? Because it was a lot of people thought it was going to come out this season. I don't know. That's just what I've heard, and that's what I've read in the groups.
That's crazy if that's true. But hopefully we'll see him pop up because I think that would be real.
Bro, I don't even want to talk about whatever the next season of Yellow Jackets is because it's going to be forever before we get another one, and I just don't even want to think about it.
That's very true. That's very true.
Like I was thinking today, like From is filming, the Road Vampire Lestat, they're filming, like, and I'm just, can we get to January? Please. Because it'll be 2026, and it comes out February.
No, I don't.
The new Scream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm excited, but I'm a little scared. I have my own, I think it will be good, but I'm also a little like, I don't know. I need to see some product. I need to see some things.
They're done filming. Like, can you just like give us a little something? Just a little.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. It's kind of the same way where I'm like, they dropped pictures for Mortal Kombat a while ago, the new one, and that's supposed to be coming out in October. And I'm like, people are online talking about, oh, this is going to be this is going to be that. But realistically, a lot of the characters, I understand people are upset that Carl Urban is Johnny Cage. You had a lot of people wanted the Miz, or certain people like whatever. But like, I just need you to drop the trailer because I feel like that will probably shut some people up too. Who knows though? People can't be satisfied with certain things, and that's where we're going to end on that. But it's very interesting that we're talking about that though, because obviously, Marvel has its latest offering coming out with its Fantastic Four. But did you know, going into some of the fun facts, while they were filming scenes for Freddy versus Jason, they were also filming scenes for X-Men 2 for this?
I was reading something about that, but I guess it didn't register in my brain for that.
Yeah, so all of these are according to IMDb, but the lake at Camp Crystal Lake was also being used to film final scenes for X2 at the same time that this movie was being filmed. The two film cast even stayed at the same hotel. Bryan Singer got to appear on set during Jason's first kill to see Jason's costume and commented they got the makeup right. So that's kind of crazy though too, that they're all in the same hotel together. Like, could you imagine just being a fan and like walking into like, you got the X-Men over here, and then you got Robert Englund, and like all these people, I'd be like, dang, this was the coolest vacation ever. Like, by a lake.
Something crazy I was reading?
What was that?
Renfro, I always say his last name wrong, was originally cast as Will, but had to be replaced, and pretty much it's because it was like a week before shooting, but it was pretty much because he showed up very strung out and just couldn't do it, which is sad.
That's very sad. I do know that they did have a sequel plan for this. And it got scrapped. But it did get turned into a comic. It was a 6-issue comic series in the late 2007, early 2008. And it added the Evil Dead Ash Williams to the mix. And that was actually part of the conversation. There's a podcast clip going around recently where Bruce Campbell is talking. And they talked about the fact that they had a meeting with the people who did Freddy versus Jason, and it was pretty much that like they were going to bring Ash in, and Ash was going to like, you thought, okay, well, Ash would be the one that would like make it out because he's like the good guy, but it was going to be like him not making it, and one of Freddy or Jason or the Deadite, whoever was going to make it out. And it was just like, it didn't make sense. I mean, because it really doesn't. Like, how would Ash, after fighting the Deadites, how would Ash not make it out from that?
Yeah.
Because he's kind of had a similar experience.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, there were so many like discrepancies with the script and different endings. Like one of them, which I really think would have been really fucking cool, the ending was supposed to be Jason and Freddy battling out on the lake, and Pinhead was supposed to rise above from hell. Like, what is the problem here, gentlemen? You know, doing his whole Pinhead Hellraiser thing, which I thought that kind of fits. It's hell, like that is Pinhead's forte. That'd have been cool, but the Miramax owned the rights to Hellraiser, so they couldn't do that.
Yeah, there was a lot of like different. There was a lot of beef. Just gonna say that.
There was
like there was just a lot of things with people in this movie.
Like even Monica Keene has come out and said that like she had issues with the screenplay, and I'm like, goodness.
Because what we have to remember, and this is what I thought, but this is actually from IMDb, so I wanted to make sure I was saying this correctly. But they have been trying to make a movie like this the whole time. So New Line Cinema first attempted to make this film several times in the late 1980s, as early as 1987, when they tried to team up with Paramount Pictures by putting Jason against Freddy Krueger in the 7th Friday the 13th movie. However, they couldn't reach an agreement, so Paramount made Friday the 13th The New Blood by having Jason fight a telepathic teenage girl. And I can understand that, because here's the thing we have to remember. This was only recently solved where Friday the 13th could move forward with anything. The last Friday the 13th movie was made in 2010, 2009, I think it was, 2010. And that was the last time, because Friday the 13th and Jason are owned by two different people. Somebody owns the rights to Friday the 13th, and the makeup artist who originally came up with Jason with the mask owns the rights to Jason's like image.
That's so complicated.
Well, that's how a lot of things were back in the day with like, because that's kind of like, okay, so take it for instance, Killer Clowns. Killer Clowns was supposed to have a movie with sci-fi. They were supposed to, for years, they've had issues with wanting to move forward with the sequel and stuff. Well, sci-fi at one point in time was supposed to do a Killer Clowns movie. Well, when the Disney-Fox merger went through and stuff, that ended up not happening and got scrapped because they were then owned by a different commodity. Now they're able to move forward with the series because I think it's Amazon that bought the rights to, or is working with the brothers on Killer Clown. But that's how a lot of these franchises are, because at the time, nobody thought it was going to be as big as it is. Like, look at Star Wars. Like, a lot of the stuff from the original Star Wars, they just kind of chucked out. Or Jaws. Jaws is one of the big ones. Like, they got rid of a ton of stuff from Jaws, not thinking that this movie was going to be like the movie that it was. And then, like, I mean, look what happened in the ride. They literally took out the original, like, the boat from the ride and made it into scraps without Steven Spielberg even knowing about it. And he rides the ride and he's like, where did this go? And they're like, oh yeah, we took it out. Like, this happens a lot. Like, things get abandoned. Like, Final Destination Bloodlines was making waves even before they announced the trailer and stuff, because they were already like, there was already a company that was selling costumes and stuff of them. The only reason I knew about it is because the same company was also selling all the Monster High live action movie stuff. But yeah, like, this happens a lot where people think, oh, this isn't going to be as big of a thing as it is. And it turns out to be the movie that it is. Because who thinks it's going to be a big, like, the horror genre gets a lot of, distaste in cycles of period of time. Like, think about early 2000s before all of this really, or even like pre-COVID, horror was kind of losing its steam, and then it came back. So everything's cyclical. But it is kind of crazy. The stuff with Catherine Isabel, I think it is. Yeah, Catherine Isabel.
Isabel.
The stuff with her is kind of crazy. Like, the fact
fucking wild.
So what we're talking about is they made Catherine Isabel, she had it in her contract that she wasn't going to do nudity, and then they kept pushing for it, and then they finally settled on a body double. But, like, remind you, Catherine Isabel is a horror giant by this time, because even Robert Englund knows who she is, because he was excited to work with her because of Ginger Snaps. But, like, she had already done American Mary. She had already done Ginger Snaps. She had been in a lot of different things. So she already had her teeth cut on some things. So I wonder if that's why they cut her out so early. But
yeah, because I felt like
she should have made it to the end.
She should have made it to the end.
So this is an interesting fact. Originally, Rob Zombie was offered to direct.
I read that, and I thought, a lot of people don't like his remakes, and I'm a huge fan of his Halloween remakes of 1 and 2. 2's it's a little weird, but I thoroughly enjoy it, and I think, honestly, if there were to ever be any sort of remake of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, like, I don't really have a pick for Freddy, but if anybody could do it justice, I think Rob Zombie could. I'm just going to say it.
I think I do too. So I think, obviously, he turned it down because he was making House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
Which, honestly,
it's a classic now. That whole franchise is.
So I could see that, but the one that I'm always just so mad that he's never gotten a chance, because I think he would kill it, and I think he said that he's wanted to do it, and Jordan Peele has said that they wanted to do it, but The Blob, they both wanted to do The Blob, and I think I love what he did with the Munsters, and I know people don't, but I think for somebody who is such a super fan, and I remember watching MTV Cribs and seeing all of his Munsters stuff in his house, I think he did a great job, and I'm a Munsters super fan, and I think it's super cool. So
I loved it.
I was geeked out. I mean, I was at his concert when he was showing the trailer, and I was geeked out because it came out around the time of my birthday, and I just felt like that was so fucking cool. Like, but I
think he while he is a director, I believe he truly understands horror as a fan. whereas some of these directors do not. And he's just outrageous in some of these movies with certain kill scenes. I think he would do fantastic with someone passing the torch to him on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Will that ever happen? Probably not, because there's literally nobody that can play Freddy like Robert Englund.
No, I mean, we're not even going to mention the fact that there's been an attempt. I mean, even though Haley Earl is he was great in Watchmen. I think that was a disaster. Even though I like that they kind of put it in a serious tone.
I liked it,
but I didn't
like. Yeah,
it just was so disrespectful. It was just very disrespectful to like the story. I feel like if you're gonna hit like that, especially on the serious side, it should be in par with New Nightmare, because that was his
but reset. I mean, and Freddy is really not all that serious. He's a comedian, and like there was none of that.
No, and if you are gonna make it, like, I think that's why New Nightmare holds up versus that, because it makes sense that this character that you fed all of this fear and everything to could tap into something real, and they found a way to make him super fucking scary and separate away from Freddy. So if you're going to do something like that, do it. So Weston Hills, which is the asylum that they're in, that is actually canon for Freddy. That is supposedly where Freddy was conceived, where his mother, had and was featured in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
So the drug that they took in the third one is also in Freddy vs. Jason.
In Freddy vs. Jason. And if you are wondering chronologically how this shakes out, the film is set after the events of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and Jason Goes to Hell, which is why we see, the Freddy mask. You get certain versions that have it, some versions that don't. But it's obviously before Jason X, and canonically, it's apparently there's kind of like a whole thing about whether the newest Friday the 13th is like a reset of timelines or it's like the continuation from this. So
I feel like it's a continuation.
I'm
gonna go with that.
Nobody can tell. Did you know that Vampire Diaries star Ian Somerhalder was supposed to play in this movie?
No, thank you.
So that was kind of crazy to think. I'm trying to find any.
Even Brad Renfro, I don't think would have been a good Will. He would have been good as Will's best friend, like his friend. I don't know why I forget his name. The Davis boy. Whose brother killed himself, who was played by Zach Ward. Christmas Story.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot. So if you ever get a chance, we're going to put it down below. There are a lot of facts with this. I think we're going to gloss over some of the drama, because I know obviously there was a big thing between Kane Hodder and the man that didn't eventually play Jason in this, and there was very like back and forth things. So that's Kane Hodder's story to tell, and I'm not going to be salacious by like talking about that, because we don't know, like it is what it is. So the film was made into a big haunted house at Universal Halloween Horror Nights in 2015 in Orlando, Florida for the 25th anniversary. That would have been super cool. Yeah. That would have been cool to see. So I'm excited, which actually I think there's supposed to be a Jason one this year, where they're doing like a Jason like legacy one almost. I don't know if that's because like now they can with the rights and everything, but that'd be very interesting. There are some Halloween nights houses that I am jealous of, but in general, like it's a cool idea to like think about that, but I just I would love to see like more permanent fixtures. Like more like now that we have the dark universe with or Universal Orlando, and there's the Saw ride over in the UK with Thorpe Park. I feel like could this be the time where we could start seeing more things like that? Like I think it would some of these pair naturally where it would be kind of cool to see them like be in that atmosphere riding a ride like
Yeah,
a Freddy roller coaster.
absolutely.
That would be like based on like dreams. You could even call it a dream warrior. So, Universal call us. We got some ideas
I
of
got some
things
ideas.
that you could do. But there's just a lot. There actually there's just so much. So we're gonna link it down below. But this is just it's nostalgic. And Kylee is right. I remember this coming out and being around the age where I could actually know what this is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was kind of cool because this came out around the same time as Alien versus Predator. And I had grown at that point in time to love the Alien franchise and knew of the Predator one. That was the first Alien movie that I ever got to see in theaters because it was PG-13. And I got to go see it in theaters. And that was kind of like, yay, I don't have to like hide this from going to see this. I could go in theaters. And like by the time the second one came out, I was old enough where I was like, yeah, oh yeah, you could go see it. Like I think I was still like 15 or 16, but like it's like, yeah, you could go see it.
Yeah.
But I remember this like hitting DVD and actually like seeing it. And I was like, what?
I need it right now. I need it right now.
Yeah, it's different when you like see Freddy when you're younger, but then like when you're old enough and that like first time, like I remember watching this and I remember watching Jason X later on and being like, who the fuck are these people? Like, like this isn't Freddy. This isn't Jason.
Like, I know who this is. That's why I find it so exciting even now, like with my kids, not these kinds of movies, but movies I watched as a kid that they're making certain remakes of, whether they're good or bad. I don't want to talk about that. It's just exciting.
Yeah, it is. So I'm excited that this is kind of making the rounds and getting more love. And who knows, like we may eventually, I know that technically Robert Englund is retired and he has said that he will stay that way. I would not be surprised if he does try, at least in some capacity, to dust it off and give us one more go around. That would be a very Robert Englund thing to do. But even if he doesn't, Robert Englund is a freaking goat for how many entries he's given us and how many things he's done.
Yeah, but I feel like somebody eventually is going to play him, and it's going to be very tough on the fans. There's going to be a lot of hate and critiquing, and to say I'm going to be the happiest about it, I don't know, but I'm going to go in with it with an open mind.
Yeah, give it a chance, because this, at the time, people were like, Freddy versus Jason? What?
A lot of people thought it was whack.
Yeah, and, now that we've come around, people are starting to be like, yeah, that wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah.
And are starting to come back around and love it for what it is. And I love that. But just go give it some love. So as we wrap up this episode, because it's already an insanely long episode for Kylee and Cass, we are going to talk about our things in horror this week. So is there anything that you want to highlight this week, Kylee?
Tomorrow is the day Hell House LLC Lineage tickets go on sale, and they release all the exact locations of in which theaters it will be playing in. You know what? I might stay up until midnight to try and score my tickets.
Try to do that.
I might, maybe. I probably will, to be honest, because I think they're going to go fast. And that is one thing they have said. Even like terror films, like if you're wanting to go see this movie, you need to buy your tickets and you need to get them as soon as possible. Because it is an independent film and is not going to be in all the theaters. Like there's like 4 or 5 theaters it's going to be in. I do know AMC Plus, Regal, and so far Cinemark is what I'm hearing and what I'm honestly praying for, because that's the closest one to me that I can go see it. If not, I'm going to have to drive like an hour and a half to Columbus to an AMC theater to see it. And I really just don't want to do that. I don't. I'd rather drive like 45 minutes than that, but I will because I really want to see it. And I know it comes out on Shudder in October, but like the internet and social media is going to ruin it for me. And I just don't have that to do.
Yeah, because I will verify that and this is a big thing, and you're allowed. Basically, what I heard is I'm going to do whatever it takes to see it, which is, I get it, because like this is a huge thing for you. And
it is. And like, I'm not even really a big person, like when it comes to just certain movies and having to go see it in theaters, you know what I mean? But this is not getting spoiled for me. It's just not.
Because I know you and I were incredibly frustrated because we knew that Final Destination Bloodlines was probably coming out around the time we were going to be together. And we were like specifically at one point, like, no, we're going to watch this, which we did. But like people were trying to spoil it left and right. And that was very sad for you and I, because we're like, that's Tony Todd's last role. Like, can we just enjoy this in peace? Like, have this moment.
Or, dude, you remember the last season of Yellowstone?
Oh, people were left and right.
Like, just shut the fuck up.
Like, I would see things all the time, and I'm just like,
and Yellow Jackets too.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
Can we just not? Can we just not? Because that's
you know what? Can we just go back to like when Freddy vs. Jason came out? You didn't have to deal with spoilers. And if you couldn't see it in theaters, you were having to wait till it hit DVD or the movie rental store, like Blockbuster, Family Video.
Yeah, and I exactly, like, I really do, because even now, like, I like watching Love Island, but I'm not like a person where I feel like I have to like watch it 9 o'clock every time because it's like it comes on daily every day for like, I think it's 4 or 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is. It's always in the summertime. But like, sometimes, I don't catch up to it and I want to like watch it a couple days in a row.
Yeah.
And people will already be spoiling, like even the other night, like somebody had already, and like it had just hit Peacock at 9 and like somebody was already spoiling it at 9:10. And I was just like, I just need all of you to like take a seat. Can we at least just have 24? Listen, after 24 hours, you can let me assume my own risk. But can we at least, or even just give me a spoiler alert? But people just be like cold cocking things out here, and I don't like it. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that fan. Please don't. So mine, it would, of course, it's not a Cass thing without me talking about vampires. And I was just talking today with Kylee about how I was feeling a little disillusioned from vampire stuff, but then this has to bring me back in. But there is a French Dracula movie that is coming out at the end of this month, July 30th. It is directed by Luc Besson. It actually has Christoph Waltz in it, but it is based on obviously Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it is supposed to be more leaning into the gothic horror, and it follows Dracula as he pursues a woman in Paris who resembles his late wife, and it's supposed to be taking place in like the Marie Antoinette era of things, like the Baroque era, and it's supposed to be very interesting. It's supposed to be very like artsy, looks very good. I've seen a trailer for it. We'll put the trailer in the link down below, but the trailer looks really good. So I'd be very interested to see how they're taking on to it. It looks more like they're trying to go like the route of like Francis Ford Coppola's version, but in its own way, kind of playing it up. So I'm super excited. I don't think I would be normally saying that because Dracula stuff sometimes can be hit or miss, but this is the first thing I've seen in a while that's like, you know, this looks, I'm willing to give you a chance. So, plus, listen, your book talk girlies got me. You got me. You got me. You reeled me in. You got me subscribed to Passion Flicks. I'm watching the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and I'm reeled in. Should I be this reeled in? No. Is it surprising? No. Am I so surprised every single time I'm like, I'm about to go on the Spicy Book app and watch like the HBO Max version of these books come to life. But do I love it every time? Yes. So
do you have your bib with you?
I should, because damn, the guy, like, when I first saw the pictures, I was like, you know, this is not gonna be, I don't know. I mean, he's hot, but like, and then I watch it and I'm like, damn, I haven't felt this way since I saw Gary Oldman in Dracula or Gerard Butler in Dracula 2000. But this man is fine. And he's routinely without his shirt. So listen, you guys know what you're doing. So thank you for spreading that on the internet and making sure that I can't ignore it. So then I have to like follow up on everything. I appreciate your service. But yeah, if you're interested, it's called the Black Dagger Brotherhood. It is based on the J.R. Ward books, which are naturally spicy. I've read them before, and now you get to see it in person. It's something. So I do probably need a bib. So thank you, Kylee, for the bib.
No problem.
But yeah, so show Kylee some love. Definitely go check out Freddy versus Jason. And your girls are back. We're back from vacation. We're ready to rock and roll. Yeah. And we're ready to tackle this year. So don't mind our dust. We're changing different things around here. We're learning, we're improving, we're grooving. So if you have any suggestions or themes or different things that you want us to check out, always DM us. Like, we're not unobtainable.
We're not,
people.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestion. Constructive criticism. Remember that. Constructive criticism. Not just criticism for criticism's sake. So, but let us know. But we're super excited and we're definitely wheels running. So catch us here. Catch us on Hell Zone. And until next time, it's me, Cass, and
Kylee.
And we're saying bye and stay spooky. Bye. Bye.